can you start off and introduce yourself to our site?
I am Tom Maxwell, and I play guitar for Hellyeah.
Awesome. Well, that was a hell of a set. You guys just play it out there.
Yeah, it was a little early to get up and play metal, but, the crowd...
Sure as hell woke the crowd up. So.
They were a little rowdy, but it's a good thing, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So how are you enjoying Clarke and Rebellion now that you've performed and everything? How's the rest of the festival been treating you?
Well, I have yet to really experience it because as soon as we got off, we had to start doing press and signings and stuff like that. But a lot of my friends are here in other bands, so I'm looking forward to watching them and hanging out,
So can we talk about Blood for Blood a little bit and the recording process and everything? I'm curious, can you pick like one or two songs in particular and tell me what the mindset was like in the studio?
Well, I don't know if I could pick any particular song. It was more of just trying to be as transparent and honest as possible, and we this record was pretty dramatic to make. We parted ways with two of our members, and so three of us initially just three of us just recorded this record, myself, Chad, and Vinny. But oh, bless you. It's to pollen or whatever. But just the mindset was just to be as honest as possible and to make the best record we could, like as if it was the last album any of us were ever going to make. So that's pretty much.
What's fascinating to me is, when songwriting happens in the process, is the ability to tell a whole story and evoke an emotion in a listener in like a 3 to 4 minute time period. Like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I guess so. A lot of that really falls on the vocalist. Musically, you could have great songs, but without great vocals, it doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? And we're pretty fortunate to have a singer with Chad who, he's great to begin with. And, on this record, he really stepped up and kind of opened up his chest to being honest and raw emotion and stuff. So that's the thing about with this album. It's so personal to us, and there was no premeditated mentality going into it. It was more of like breathing air, you know what I mean? The songs were just given to us, from whatever force it was. It just came and we just let it go, and it turned out to be, I know every band says this about their every record, it's the greatest record we ever did, but this is, our finest hour, and I think that if everything were to end tomorrow, I would be complete.
I certainly hope not.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, it's, I could, this record is, the finest body of work that we have done.
Absolutely. I think you can sense when the magic is there, and it is like that unexplainable thing when the pieces just fall together like that. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I agree. It's what I keep saying, like when you go into a record, a lot of bands, they're not giving their honesty. They're just kind of just going through the motions, and could be good songs, could be bad songs, but with us, everything fell into place, man.
So on a personal level for you, do you have a pivotal music moment that occurred in your life that made you decide that you had to pursue it for a career?
Did it have me what?
That made you decide you wanted to pursue music for a career?
I don't know if it was a pivotal moment or anything catalyst. It was, I grew up in a very musical family, and I think it was just my calling. I started playing music at a very young age, around 8 years old, playing drums and piano and guitar. And, I think when I saw Motley Crue, that it kind of made me want to be in a band, you know what I mean? But I've always wanted to play music, but...
So sad to hear about their final tour.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm actually think it's killer. I think it's great, you know what I mean? Because I know that they're going to stick to their word, and, you go out when everything's on top, and it's a cool thing.
You do make a point with that, you do.
Yeah, I think, Kiss, who's been on the farewell tour for 20 years now, it's just like, come on, it's just, whatever. With Motley, it's going to be, kaput and final, and they've contributed so much, to the world, musically, to me. I mean, to the point I got Nikki Sixx tattooed right there. I mean, it's just, but yeah, to go back to what you're saying, I think, I think I knew that I was going to play music my whole life, but it wasn't until bands like, Motley and Kiss and, the big rock and roll show that you saw with the fire and everything, it made me want to be in a band.
So, I mean, I'm sure you've witnessed so many changes in the industry over time. Which one would you say has had the biggest effect on you?
Well, obviously the availability of taking music off the internet, you know what I mean? It's really, broke the spine of the industry pretty much. I mean, back in the day, it meant something to sell records, you know what I mean? Now it's like, you can go out and sell a couple 100,000 records and that would be a success story. Where back in the day, selling a couple 100,000 records is a failure. And that's, it's definitely done that, I mean.
Look at the numbers sometimes, like on what they say the sales are for things, like it's just so depressing to see that's, but yet when you come out to these rock shows, the fan base is still like well alive.
Well, that's what, keeps bands afloat, is touring, merchandising and publishing and stuff like that. I mean, look, you can still sell records. There are bands that sell records. You have bands like Five Finger, you have bands like, Avenged Sevenfold, who are doing very well. Now, whether they're making any money off of their record sales, I don't know. But, it's, to have a gold record nowadays is like going double platinum. It can be depressing, but you know what? I think, what keeps all of us doing this is just the love for the music, I mean, what else are we going to do? Become farmers, I mean, this is our calling. We're lifers, so you have to be smart. You have to think ahead of the game. You have to think of ways to be able to sustain yourself and, like, be out there. Luckily, we still put asses in seats at concerts, you know what I mean? And that's a big thing, when it gets to the point where you're not fucking selling tickets and stuff, then it's, scary. And a lot of bands don't, and you see them folding, So many bands, man, so many.
So I know you guys have some upcoming dates. The rest of you guys see some with Adrenaline Mob coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're out with Avenged and doing these off dates here. Like today, we're doing a festival, and we got some headlining shows and stuff, and then we go home in June for a little bit, and we're doing a bunch of fly dates, festivals like this. Go to Europe for a little bit, and then we come back, and then we start a big tour.
How are the European crowds versus the States?
Better. I mean, over there they got it right. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say that individually the people are better. It's just what the shows. You know what I mean? It means something, and to be honest with you, a lot of people here in the States just don't have the money. The economy is fucked up, and it's expensive to go to a show. When you compress everything besides tickets, parking, water, T-shirts, you're gonna be out a few $100, man. So a lot of people don't have that, and over there, they just had it a bit longer. The festivals are badass and they're massive, and it's an event. You know what I mean? I think, the States can take a lesson or two in that. I mean, we have some good festivals and stuff, but the problem with the festivals that we have now is the same bands over and over and over and over again.
It's like making a decision.
And that's special. You know what I mean? I mean, like, over there, it's they're not taking the trends. You know what I mean? They're taking the bands. Yeah, they have the big headliners, but you have all these other bands too, and you go to Download Festival and you got 100,000 people that are there.
Unbelievable. I'm dying to get over there.
Amazing, man. It's badass, but listen, touring over here is good, but you really have to put something together that is worth it. The package has to be awesome. The bands have to be, exceptional, and to the point where people are willing to spend that kind of money to a concert. You know what I mean? To go out nowadays by yourself, it's a gamble, man. You know what I mean? People don't know what they're going to be able to afford until the day of. You know what I mean? So, things will be, look, I have faith, and we all do, and things are going to get better, and yeah, but there's so much music that I think one other thing that is a big problem is that there's so many bands that sound so much alike. There's nobody going outside of the box and having their own identity. They're staying safe, or they're, doing things that aren't honest. And the fans know what is honest and what's not, you know what I mean? And, that's a problem also with the record sales. People aren't going to want to go out and buy a whole record because half the time you got one or two songs that are good, and the rest of it's just shit. Start writing, better music. You know what I mean?
I think it's like they're counting on one particular single to do well, and that's it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's truth to that, and that's one thing that we pride ourselves on, especially with our new album. And there's not one fucking filler song on it. It just, the songs that we've already released are just a scratch from the surface, man. Like when you get into this album, it's pretty monumental.
That's awesome. So, in your opinion, what would you say is the most misunderstood thing about Hellyeah? What do people get wrong?
We're not a southern rock band or a southern metal band. I
hate genres, absolutely.
Man, it just pisses me off. I mean, look, we had a couple songs that we did that, and it was more of an experiment, but one song does not define your whole body. Just because you may like chicken salad doesn't mean you're all about your chicken salad person. You know what I'm saying? It's just, there's a lot more to it. And, a lot of people, and I also think that, we're in some side band supergroup shit. We're 7 years in, man. This is what we're doing. It's our fourth album, and we're not, a side project. Where we came from, we came from. People need to get over that.
Yeah, I feel like critics and a lot, even coming from a journalist side, but they're always bugging us to boxing artists into one particular thing, and this is what it has to be, or if you're a fan of this, you can't be a fan of that, and I absolutely despise
people want to put that shit in their pocket. Listen, Pantera fans are hardcore, and they show support, but Pantera will always be their band. Mudvayne fans, same way. Nothing Face fans, the same way. Whatever, you know what I mean? And that's fine. I'm a huge Pantera fan. I'm a huge Mudvayne fan. But life doesn't stop there, you know what I mean? Chad is doing this because he loves his band. Vinny is doing this because he loves his band. I'm doing it because we love this. We're a band, and that's, might be hard for some people to swallow, and they might not want it, but it's a tough break,
What kind of legacy do you hope that you'll leave?
Good music, stuff that just has staying power for, for generations to come. That's what you'd always hope for. I don't want to be one of these bands that, dust in the wind. That's one of the things that we definitely pride ourselves on, man. We're very close to our fans, and we play all the shows. We do the small gigs, we do the big gigs, we do everything. We're building a grassroots following, and with that, you build a career.
It's awesome that you do have that relationship with the fans, because I find that so many artists put this length of distance between themselves and their fan base, and it's almost like they're out of touch, and it's difficult.
There's no rock star in this band, man. The only thing, like Chad says, the only thing that separates us from those fans is the edge of the stage and the barricade, and that's it. You leave your ego at the door, man. And believe me, I've met quite a few people in this business that are friends, but they got healthy egos, man, and there's nothing real about it. In fact, it makes me not even want to hang out with them, because I'm not that, none of us are. We're here for music, man. It's music. This isn't fucking, Hollywood.
So many people forget that, though.
They do, man. It's a shame, but it is what it is, All I know is that we're not that, and I can live with it.
Well, I want to thank you so much for taking a few minutes to speak with me. I appreciate it. Is there any comments you'd like to share with fans?
Yeah, June 10th, the new record drops, and you better get it. It's an awesome album, man. I think people are really, really
so excited.
Surprised. People are going to be surprised, man. It's it's a journey. It's a lot of deep stuff in there, heavy on a lot of different things. You know, it's not all about just aggression, you know. So
I just wrote up about it. I said it's brutal as hell, but it's in a good way.
brutally beautiful.
Yes, that's it.
All right. Thank you.